What's up, y'all? Forward Fave man, BigBossFabo back again with a video for the channel. I'm actually doing a reaction to creepy TikToks, man. I be keeping them up at night. Creepy and strange videos that'll keep you up all night. You hear me? So like, comment, subscribe, hit notification bell. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all my social Forward Fave man. Check out the link in the description to the TikTok playlist, and let's go ahead and hop into the video, man.
Shadow people explained. Shadow people are 2D entities. With no real features, they're just kind of pitch black. Most people say shadow people get into your home via a portal, which most often is a mirror. The theory goes that shadow people used to be human beings, but there were also some that weren't humans, meaning their personalities and what they may do can vary. But they're all pretty much very intelligent. Although if they are spotted by humans, they most often will flee. Another explanation for what these things are sleep paralysis hallucinations, which makes...
Bro, who is this kid? The shadow people professor or what? But he giving the whole rundown.
It's less of a supernatural thing and more of a scientific thing. But also some people think they're aliens, so who knows.
Don't nobody believe in that stuff though. You hear me?
A man in a graveyard caught something horrifying on camera. In this video, a man takes a camera with him into a cemetery at night because he heard the sound of a young girl crying from the graveyard near his house. As he enters the cemetery, he is visibly scared, and keeps telling himself that he is an idiot for putting himself in this situation.
No seas idiota. ¿Qué es esto, güey? No está nada lógico la niña llorando en el cementerio a las 12 de la noche.
He spots the girl and points the camera at her.
Amiga. Niña. Ay, no seas imbécil. ¡Ella, güey!
Bro just got out himself for being stupid, doing stupid things, and he's over here calling out to the girl, Nina, Nina. She look over, oh, let's go. Bro, all these paranormal people always be doing that. It's like playing with fire, but it's like when something happens, you scared.
¡Ella, güey! ¡Por favor!
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 26. Atoms are 99% nothing, which makes us 99% nothing as well. Also, if you come in contact with someone or something, you're not actually touching them. You're simply sensing the repulsion between your atoms and theirs. You can get bed bugs from movie theater seats. In 1386, a French pig was publicly executed for the murder of a child. The pig was given full legal representation and provided human clothes for the trial. A 7-year-old South African girl is more likely to be raped than to receive an education. In the 1950s, many babies in orphanages didn't cry very often because they knew their cries wouldn't be answered.
Bruh, we don't even be hearing. These are some weird statistics though. What the hell nah. Bruh.
Seth, the man with the longest beard in history, died when he tripped over it and cracked his neck.
That thing stank.
The maximum prison sentence in Brazil is 30 years, meaning that mass murderers like Pedro Rodrigues Filho, who killed over 100 people, are walking free today.
Damn.
Disturbing moments caught at McDonald's. This woman, fed up with waiting for her food at a McDonald's, begins trashing the store and throwing things at the staff behind the counter. She starts by simply looking fed up before the clip cuts, and she comes in from off camera. She throws a bucket, containers, wet floor signs, and more. All we can see are other guests trying to get away from her and the employees trying to scramble out.
Bruh, she was waiting on the McRib. It had just dropped, and she wasn't trying to wait for it. My thing is, bro, you causing this much ruckus for Mickey D's. Duh, I mean, I can understand if it's like Chick-fil-A or something. I don't know. In and out. I don't know, bruh. Mickey D's? You probably only got a 10-piece though.
Out of the line of fire.
The mac sauce.
These twins barely spoke to anyone but each other. As children, their parents quickly noticed that Jennifer and June Gibbons weren't like the other kids. They were unusually inseparable and even created their own language. By their teens, they were even mirroring each other's actions. They would move and walk exactly alike. But even after seeing specialists, no one could figure out what was going on with the girls. One speech therapist noticed that it seemed like June wanted to talk but was controlled by her sister. Their diaries revealed that June felt the same. She called her sister a dark shadow, and Jennifer felt that they were fatal enemies. They tried separating the girls, but they rapidly declined into a trance-like state. When they reunited, they withdrew even more and stopped talking to their family almost completely. By the time they were 18, they were rebelling and arrested for arson. They were committed to a maximum security prison where they lived for 12 years. In March 1993, the twins were being transferred to a low security, but when they arrived, Jennifer was unresponsive and pronounced dead at age 29. It seemed like she just fell asleep and never woke up. After this, Jennifer began speaking and interacting with the world as if she had her whole life.
Please, y'all, tell me this don't remind y'all of the movie Us, Jordan Peele, to where old girl's twin came from the other dimension, and she was very different. You know that? She was a whole spawn. Weird ass orange on.
Scary stories in 60 seconds or less. This single mom was gonna have the night to herself when her older kids went out, so she was totally happy to just curl up on the couch and watch some TV. As the night got later and later, she finally turns the TV off to head upstairs to bed. She was just about to hit the lights when suddenly she noticed something in the kitchen. She swore she saw something run by the kitchen window, but she tried to calm herself down and maybe just convince herself that it was just her reflection she saw. She felt a bit uneasy, but decided to head over to the window to look, but she only got halfway when she heard something. The soft tapping of a finger on the window and a muffled voice from outside saying, "Hi." She stood there completely frozen as her eyes adjusted and she could suddenly make out the outline of a pale-faced man who had been watching her from outside the window. She screamed and ran for the bathroom where she called 911 and they came, but they never found that man, nor did they know what he was planning to do to her.
After a walk with her dog, a woman notices that a man has followed her into her yard. Her doorbell camera recorded the entire incident. In the video, the woman picks up her dog and rushes inside her house after she sees the man behind her. Luckily, she locked her door, because the man walks up to the house and tries to get in. He tries to talk to her as he wiggles the doorknob. The woman called the police, but they didn't get to her house. The man behind her.
Bruh, whole weirdo. Broad daylight. What are you doing, bruh?
Luckily, she
said, "Hey, ma'am, you need some help with some chores around the house?"
followed her into her yard. After a walk with her dog, a woman notices that a man has followed her into her yard. Her doorbell camera recorded the entire incident. In the video, the woman picks up her dog and rushes inside her house after she sees the man behind her. Luckily, she locked her door, because the man walks up to the house and tries to get in. He tries to talk to her as he wiggles the doorknob. The woman called the police, but they didn't get to her house until 15 minutes later. The man was not even arrested, as police said trespassing is only a citation and he just needs to be seen in court.
This fool had all the gear, bro. He started pulling out the gloves. He started covering up the camera. Like, he thought he was prepared, but he wasn't.
This is a true horrifying story
Not
of
this
what
guy.
causes jinns to possess humans. For those who don't know what jinns are, they are the paranormal. They are demons. Some refer to them as evil spirits. Other religions refer these incidents as demonic possessions. Regardless of what religion you follow, a demonic possession is a thing that is mentioned in your books. This episode is not specifically a story, but I will explain the details on how possessions happen. Now remember, there are three
This fool
causes
evil, bruh.
and
He
four
demonic.
conditions behind the jinn possession. These are the three causes. 1. Oppression, the rarest cause. A jinn will possess you for the simplest reason. He just doesn't like you. Number 2. Love, the ashiq jinn. A jinn can fall in love with a human and start possessing that person. There are reasons behind this. Maybe you spend a lot of time in your house undressed, thinking no one can see you. The jinn is actually staring at you, and some
This
will
fool
even
got a
be
jinn, bruh.
attracted to you. Number 3.
He a weirdo.
Unintentional harm. When you accidentally harm a jinn. An example, you poured boiling water somewhere outside, and it accidentally harmed the jinn, they will seek vengeance. Now these are the three causes. What about the conditions? Can jinns possess you at any time, anywhere? No. There are 4 conditions you must meet before a jinn can possess you. Condition 1. Extreme anger. When you're in a state of extreme anger, you are widening the gate for a demonic possession. Condition 2.
Somebody need to
excessive
remove
fear.
Buddy from this
Same
series,
thing.
man. Every time I watch these videos, bro, he always got some weird story to tell. Now, just not a fan.
A state
At
of
all.
excessive heedlessness, not physically, spiritually. And condition 4. Pleasure. It is the state of when you are alone, enjoying your desires. You know, when you do what you do while watching inappropriate content. These are the 4 conditions that you need to be in for a jinn to possess you. But these conditions aren't always the case for a demonic possession. They are the states for the jinns to possess you, and they only open a wider gate for demons to use you. Demonic possessions are real, and they are lethal, and they are not easy to treat. Jinns are predators that we cannot see.
Is you done, my boy? Damn.
If you do this much, you will die. Part 2. First is gaming. If you play video games for 7 days straight, you will die. Several people have died doing this when they are completing a gaming marathon. So whatever you do, never play video games for more than 7 days. Next up is time without pooping. If you go 2 weeks without pooping, you will die. It also completely depends on your diet, but the average time to die from not pooping is 2 weeks. Finally is self-pleasuring yourself. You would die after going 42 times. A Brazilian teenager died from shock after going 42 times without stopping. I don't know who.
That's just craziness to me, bro. Who's gonna do 42 times? I was finna say he must have been a kid, but then I recall he said he was a teen during that experimental phase where you just figure out what sex is. You know what I'm saying? But it was beating the meat too much. That is crazy, though. That is wild. 42 times. And he died.
Who in their right mind would do this anyway? But if you're one of these people, never go over 42 times.
Weird. Weird.
Can you do the Harbinger Experiment? Warning, this story gets a tad bit disturbing, so if you're sensitive to stuff like that, now is the time to exit. The Harbinger Experiment is a creepypasta story about tests done on 3 subjects to prove that supernatural phenomena exists. As you probably already guessed, these tests go extremely wrong. The experiment was conducted by a scientist called Zimmerman. He had 3 other scientists helping him with this project, one of which is the narrator of this story. In an underground chamber, as you can see, this is the entrance depicted here, Zimmerman had lured 3 test subjects into the testing building, where they were each placed in their own separate confinement chambers. They were lured there under the belief that they would be engaging in a harmless isolation experiment. After the test subjects arrived, they were injected with a substance that Zimmerman had created. Little did they know that this substance would turn them from humans into monsters. Part 2's in the comments. This is part 2 of the Harbinger Experiment. The point of this experiment was for Zimmerman to summon beings, creatures if you will, from another realm to enter the bodies of the 3 test subjects. On the first day of the experiment, after the 3 test subjects were all put in their separate confinement chambers, Zimmerman held a meeting where he got on a loudspeaker and began chanting. Nobody knew what he was saying. It seemed as though only he knew what he was saying, and whatever he was doing seemed like a ritual of sorts. About 5 minutes after the chanting began, the ground started shaking violently, like an earthquake. And then everything stopped, including the security cameras. You see, they had set up security cameras in each of the confinement chambers so that they could monitor the test subjects. And all of the cameras went to static. Shortly after this, the test subjects began screaming for their lives. The screaming didn't stop for hours. It was time for the team to leave, and they were ordered to return back at 10 a.m. What they saw when they returned back horrified them.
It looked like a Prometheus. Them fools from Prometheus.
The Harbinger Experiment, last part. Now's the time to make sure that all of your lights are off, because it's gonna get real spooky. When everybody returned at 10 o'clock the next morning, the security cameras were still all static, except for number 2. The security camera in test subject number 2's chamber showed her lifeless body. After waiting for a while, number 3's monitor turned back on, showing that test subject number 3 had turned into a humanoid. His arms now stretched down as far as his knees. There was nothing human about him anymore. He was now a monster. The security team decided to go into his chamber, and that's when he got violent. He attempted to ambush them, which resulted in the security team unaliving him, which meant that test subject number 1 was the only one left. Suddenly, in the underground chambers, music started playing. The music was coming from test subject number 1, who erupted out of his chamber, quickly unaliving everybody in his path. He was easily 10 feet tall, maybe even 15 feet. People tried to run.
Yeah, that's a Prometheus, bro. That's that Prometheus.
This serial killer would release his victims in the woods. Also known as the Butcher Baker, Robert Christian Anson is one of America's prolific serial killers. Between 1971 and 1983, Hansen had abducted, raped, and murdered 17 women in Anchorage, Alaska. His sickening killing technique is that he'd let these kidnapped women let loose in the wild, only to hunt them down with his rifle.
Hey, there's a movie
He'd eventually
after this,
kill them using his knife. His sentence, 461 years imprisonment.
There's a movie based off this dude. Clown.
If you do this much, you will die, part 1. Up first is sex. If you have sex for more than 15 hours, you will die. Sex can be very dangerous, especially in older men, and it can cause heart problems. Next up is time without sleeping.
That fool had a heart attack.
If you go 11 days without sleeping, you will die. And if that's not bad enough, staying up this late can make you lose your memory, cause paranoia and hallucinations. Next up are burgers. If you eat 27 burgers, you will die. Your death will either be caused by cardiac failure, dehydration, or seizures. So if you're a burger lover, do yourself a favor and never eat 27.
Damn.
Photos with disturbing backstories PT.16.
This don't even look safe. Like the steps are covered up by grass. It's a very narrow path. Look like some of the railing done broken off the higher you get. I would never climb this, bro. A day in my life. Hell no. Folks be way too adventurous nowadays, man. That a bear? It's a person. I thought it was gonna be some type of wild animal that took him out. It's a dude. I don't know how they was able to see that. Hey, R.I.P. Dalen, man. That's wild to me, man. That's wild. This world's way too large, man, for weird stuff and the unknown to not occur. So many mysteries out there that we still have no answers to this day. But let me know y'all's thoughts on this one in the comment section down below. Check out the TikTok playlist, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace, love, prosperity. God bless. We out.